Hello there guys, what is going on? Daniel Childs back here again. It's Let's Talk Chelsea to start off your week, and it's a big one regarding the potential things that could happen between now and transfer deadline day towards the end of this week. So it's going to be a big one for Chelsea. At least there's going to be some tension and some fear that Chelsea are going to do some dumb things. Listen, it's a day that ends in Y, so Chelsea most likely are thinking about or could be doing something dumb. So we're going to get into that straight away regarding David Ornstein's massive piece in The Athletic, kind of his transfer guide, looking at the deals that could happen before deadline day, focusing in on Conor Gallagher, Armando Broja, and Trevor Chalobah. Firstly, let's talk about Conor Gallagher, because I think this is the most contentious and frustrating one for Chelsea fans, including myself. He reports that given Gallagher's contract expires at the end of next season, an extension looks unlikely at present. Chelsea could sell him either this month or in the summer. There have been inquiries from 3 clubs in the top half of the Premier League, and despite the importance of Gallagher to Pochettino, the midfielder's future remains uncertain. Now, Ornstein points out the obvious here that selling Gallagher would help Chelsea's financial position considerably since he is a homegrown product, so the money received would be banked as pure profit under profit and sustainability rules. There's a little bit more regarding Broja and Chalobah. We will get to that, but in the case of Conor Gallagher, it's an absolute farce. It really is. Some of the briefing and some of the reports I've heard in recent days, I've kind of been reacting to them on X at Son of Chelsea, and it's more. Listen. I understand that the club is never going to come out and say we don't want this player, because from a negotiating point of view, yes, it's obvious that weakens your stance. I guess it's just a frustration from my point of view when I'm hearing reports in a matter of days from similar sources, basically, or similar reporters, that Chelsea do value Conor Gallagher. They're fond of him. Some people within the club are fond of Conor Gallagher. That was the word being used. But now, it's unlikely you're going to get a new contract. And to me, it's just a bit like, don't try and hide the ball. You want to sell him. It's got nothing to do with potential demands of him in the transfer window over a new contract. Saw that play being done, which is not that surprising. It was a little bit like taken out of the Mount playbook. And it does feel like we are watching a slight repeat of that in different ways, where a player who is highly valuable, I mean, compared to Mount, who got injured a lot last season, but Gallagher is one of the first names on Pochettino's team sheet. And despite maybe his performances not being as high in recent weeks, he still is a very valuable and crucial player to the way Pochettino wants to play. And it's undeniable that he is at least up there with Cole Palmer and maybe a few others as the top performers so far this season. And I think it's just undeniable too, as people have pointed out, Chelsea keep on trying to sign other players that at times have proven themselves to be very fragile in terms of injuries. The great thing about Conor Gallagher is he's durable. He has proven so far in his career that he remains fit. He's available 9 times out of 10. It feels like 10 times out of 10, even when he hasn't started games, he's usually fit. That availability is something that's a rare commodity at Chelsea in recent years. That's also, it's not just the fact that he's available, he's impactful when he gets on the pitch, and he is a player that, just for me, again, it's just further proof of that warping and lack of understanding about what value should be within the current squad. And I know the reason why they want to sell academy players, you don't have to point it out to me, it's obvious. But what I would say in retort to that is the club have put themselves in this situation. They didn't have to be in a situation where PNS and FFP reasons would have forced them to sell academy players. And they're not even being forced to sell academy players, to be honest. I mean, it's not like there's no other alternative here. It probably is the most likely route to being within the line of not getting charged by PNS rules within the next period that Chelsea have got away with this time. But please do not try and spin the argument that somehow Chelsea were innocent bystanders and victims, and they just have to sell these young academy players. Like, they just have to sell good players. No, they don't have to, and they didn't have to put themselves in this situation. So I think some of the mental gymnastics I hear consistently to try and defend the indefensible, really. I mean, Chelsea this new ownership opted to spend £1 billion in the transfer market. No one had a gun to their head and said they had to do that. They have done that. and they're living with the consequences. But that still doesn't mean that you don't hand Conor Gallagher a new contract. Again, value, cost, benefit analysis. What is giving Conor Gallagher that new contract, which is probably not going to be insanity. It's not going to be 400 grand a week, anything close to that. You maintain a valuable player. You maintain a player that clearly means a lot to Chelsea supporters who are inside Stamford Bridge on a regular basis, and he's clearly valuable to your current head coach, rather than signing someone for a large fee. Some players who could cost over 60 million this month, as like Estavio Willian, who you're not going to be able to see for a couple of years, or signing players who are nowhere close to Conor Gallagher in terms of maturity, in terms of ability to impact the team right now. These are all things I understand that this is the way the club is acting right now, but I'm not just going to sit here and go, well, it's okay. I just think it's inconsistent, and I just think it doesn't mean we build a better squad, even if accounting looks better. Like, I don't think losing Conor Gallagher is a smart move at all. But in the case of Broja and Chalobah, I mean, both of these players look like they could be off. I mean, Wolves and apparently Fulham are the strong contenders for Broja. Ornstein reports, I know Desire Cancelo has reported this as well. Reports have linked Chelsea to Benzema, but apparently he is not joining. That is the big thing regarding wages. And again, you can make your own judgment on whether you think that's the right move, if Chelsea got their priorities right there between now and the end of the window. And he does reference here that they are, in the case of Benzema, the reason they're not going for him is they plan to avoid costly moves for older players and prioritise emerging elite talent like Cole Palmer and Malo Gusto. Another player, another really strange move that Chelsea could still be looking to make, despite my understanding, my kind of expectation, and I'm sure like a lot of you, once this player got injured, he'd be ruled out, is John Duran, the Colombian striker who joined Villa last January. Now, apparently, Emery's not the biggest fan, but Chelsea do like him. The prospect may be complicated by Duran currently being injured, but that does not rule out a switch, as that he would be seen mainly as a talent for the future. Another talent for the future, an injured player, is kind of comical given the narrative and just the reality of Chelsea's injury problems this season. I mean, it really is quite comical that we'd be signing a player who won't be fit for quite a few weeks. I mean, that in itself is, it just feels like great irony and a real, like, we're really going for the gimmick now of injury FC. And that's not just kind of an online term. We're actually going for it. But I've made my points about Duran before. I just don't buy he makes any vast difference to Chelsea as a team, and I don't see some great genius in going out to sign another player who needs first team minutes, like Nicholas Jackson does, like Armando Broja does, like Cole Palmer does, like Mykhailo Mudryk, like a lot of the young attackers we have bought. I don't see how great of an impact he makes, rather than just waiting until the summer. Because say you sign Duran now, and then you still sign Osimhen. I know some people probably won't care about this, but then what happens to Duran? What happens to Nicholas Jackson in the summer? And some people may go, more options the better, but you've got Christopher Nkunku. Like, it just feels like stacking as much young talent as possible without an idea of where the collateral damage is going to be and how these players are actually going to be benefited. Like, Duran could just be where he is right now in 12 months at Chelsea if he signs. Because Chelsea could go out, sign Osimhen, Nicholas Jackson continues to develop, so he's really second choice. Nkunku remains fit, so he's an option at centre forward. We know Cole Palmer can be played there as well. So is Duran going to be sat here in 12 months being like, okay, I've basically just moved from one bench to another. What was the point? And for Chelsea, I really just don't see the benefit in signing this player. Benzema's different because he is clearly an elite striker. So even for a 6-month loan, potentially what you've got there is a player who comes in and instantly goes into your starting 11 and makes an impact. I don't think the opportunity here with Duran makes much sense to me, and I don't see the benefit, the cost benefit really working out for Chelsea in the long term. I feel like for me, the perfect scenario here is what I've been saying since the start of the window. Unless an amazing opportunity presented itself, it's quite clear that Benzema is not going to be joining Chelsea because of the wage structure. You can give me your thoughts whether you think that's right or wrong in the comments below. But trying to still sell Conor Gallagher is, to me, an absolute farce given what he's done so far this season. Broja, I'm a little bit sort of tired, in terms of, I think for the player, it'd probably be a good move to leave before the end of the window. But if we're not going to bring someone in, I think it's just smart decision making to keep him for the rest of the season, and then you sell him in a more favourable market next summer. In the case of Chalobah, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion. Is he going to get any minutes even though he's now back to fitness? I'm not entirely sure. So for him, maybe a move could materialise. But in terms of Chelsea going out there and trying to still sign young potential players, I think we've got enough in the current squad. I think it's about investing in those players now and giving them time to develop. And that's why I'd be perfectly content between now saying these words and deadline day, I believe on Thursday, nothing happens and Chelsea stick with the squad they have, hopefully get some injured players back, and then we reassess in the summer. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this show. If you're a Chelsea fan and you want more Carefree content, please do hit that subscribe button. Really helps the channel out, as well as the like button and sharing it around with friends so more people can get involved in the community. And you can follow Son of Chelsea across socials at Son of Chelsea on TikTok, on Instagram and on X. Thank you.